way. I took no great pleasure out of contradicting the president, but I had to get up just to maintain my own integrity, but also to be standing up for science.
Dr. Fauci broke his silence on what he thought when Trump brought the idea of using disinfectant to treat COVID-19 in the body. So if you remember, I'm going to play a clip. Early into the pandemic, Trump floated the idea that you could use disinfectant. Let me quickly play this clip, and I'll show you what Dr. Fauci is now saying about this.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number in the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me. So we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute, that's pretty powerful.
All right. Just in case you forgot who was president a year ago, this shit's crazy. It's still crazy. Now, at the time, Fauci, of course, did not sign on to what Trump was saying, but had to be very cautious about how he said things because he was under Donald Trump. And now he's a little more unchained. And this is one of the benefits. Look, many criticism of Biden, of course, but one of the benefits of having an administration that just is not completely batshit insane is that you have scientists actually able to speak their mind when it comes to the pandemic. So listen to Fauci here giving his thoughts.
So let me ask you, you've spoken out now, I know, Dr. Fauci, about some of your frustrations about President Trump, receiving information that you say was based on no data. We all remember, infamously when people said, where are you getting your numbers? And he said, here in my head and gestured his head. I remember talking to Dr. Scott Atlas on this show, and he was talking about how, no issue with people not wearing masks at crowded rallies. Obviously, he had promoted the controversial idea of herd immunity to the president, and herd immunity not via a vaccine, right, via transmission. Then there was the doctor with the false claims about hydroxychloroquine, the MyPillow founder talking about an unproven plant extract as a cure for coronavirus. The president also talked about that. How bad was the misinformation that was being given to the president regularly?
Well, there was a combination of good information and bad information. Unfortunately, the concept of anecdotal as opposed to science-driven information seemed to prevail above that. I mean, I think if you look at the pushback that I got from people in the White House, including the president, about hydroxychloroquine, was one of the reasons why I felt it was essential for me to, not in a confrontative way, I took no great pleasure out of contradicting the president, but I had to get up just to maintain my own integrity, but also to be standing up for science that the data did not show what they were claiming. I mean, anecdotes are okay to give you the spurring on to take a look at a scientific approach, but to be ruled by anecdote is folly.
Right, and that obviously is what happened. I mean, we heard it, right? There was the ingesting bleach. I mean, there's no anecdote on that. Obviously, that one was just
right. That
one was just beyond the pale. I mean, can I just ask you, when he said that, I mean, Dr. Birx obviously had the unfortunate, she was unfortunately there. What went through your mind when he said that?
I just said, oh my goodness gracious, I could just see what's going to happen. You're going to have people who hear that from the president and are going to start doing dangerous and foolish things, which is the reason why immediately those of us who were not there said, this is something you should not do. Be very explicit. The CDC came out, I think the next day, and put in one of their publications, do not do this. I got asked on a number of shows, certainly on CNN, and I said, absolutely, this is not what you want to do.
All right, so there you go. They all knew behind the scenes how crazy this stuff was, and this is one of the benefits of having a leader who, look, again, criticism when it comes to the actual policy and legislation, of course, completely fair. We all know Biden does not go far enough, especially when it comes to healthcare. The idea that you still don't back a single-payer Medicare for all system during a pandemic is just completely nuts. But the cultural impact, the societal impact of just having somebody in charge who is not saying things that are completely crazy, it has a real-world impact. To show you, when it came to Trump discussing using disinfectant, after he did that, poison controls spiked. So this had an impact, and there were people that came out and said, we tried this because Trump said it. So this is why it is so important to just have somebody in charge who is listening to science on the base level. Now, yes, Biden is not listening to science when it comes to the healthcare system and what should be done about that. But when it comes to just pandemic response, there is a clear difference here. And having somebody in charge who is not just spouting complete nonsense that people actually listen to and think there's something to. I mean, on the other side of that, you have to ask yourself, who the hell is dumb enough or was dumb enough to listen to Trump and think that you can use bleach or any kind of disinfectant in your body to stop COVID-19? Like, who was so dumb to think that could actually help? But unfortunately, there are people out there that just blindly assume that if you're in charge, then you must know better. If you're leading the country, then you must be aware of the facts. You must actually know what's good, what's not, what helps, what doesn't. And people just listen without actually using their brains, and that happened there. And it shows you one of the main reasons why it is so important to have somebody in charge who is just not completely effing insane.